Welcome to the 2023 Winter Classic Student Cluster Competition Studio Update Show. Now, here are your hosts, Dan Olds and Addison Snell.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to another Intersect 360 Research 2023 Winter Classic Invitational Student Cluster Competition Studio Update Show. I'm Addison Snell, as usual, alongside Dan Olds. And Dan, the students keep chugging along. They're on to their third Mentor Challenge this week, having been hosted by NASA Ames Research Laboratory.
Yes, they are doing the NASA Ames WRF Challenge, which is a well-known climate modeling application that we've seen in other student cluster competitions.
Very highly scalable application, one the students can really sink their teeth into. When I've talked to a lot of younger students who are coming into this industry, climate change, modeling weather, modeling natural disasters, these are things that you can really get excited about.
Tangible element to it, right?
See where it makes a difference. And we're very grateful to NASA Ames. This is their second straight year acting as mentors in this capacity. So really glad to see them back. And
they went above and beyond this time. I mean, they did a great job last year, but these steps that they had the students go through, they had a scored step for 7 different things where they led the students through putting it together, starting from setting up libraries, getting Fortran set up, building the app, even using gprofs to profile it.
Which is really a great introduction to how HPC works. Not just the fact that, all right, we're going to actually do something in Fortran, which is kind of cool to introduce that, but that it's more steps than just running an application. There's a lot of tuning and setup that has to be done for things to work well, which the students got an introduction to all the way back with HPE at the High Performance LinPack and HPCG Challenge.
NASA also gave them a quiz, and then they put a little twist on the performance optimization, had them optimize for best price performance.
Oh, now that's an interesting thought. I mean, we've been talking about best performance, but if you really want to maximize how much performance you're getting per dollar, per watt, per some other kind of investment, what's the ultimate curve that you're going to? Sometimes it's just performance per the time spent. How much time do you want to spend to optimize something that much more? So it's interesting to bring price performance into the challenge in this way.
Yeah. So,
all right, how'd they do?
Well, let's get a look at it. Here we go.
Now, this is just for the NASA challenge itself. Down at the bottom, these are all tough challenges. So, having a school or two that didn't get an answer in, that's rough. We understand. So Florida A&M didn't get one in, but the next three teams all did. Prairie View A&M, last year's champs, got a score on the board. The Texas Tech Red Raiders always have been strong. Morehouse, they're all on the board.
Yep, they did. Let's take a look at that middle, the murderous middle, as I call it. It is tight in there when you start with UTEP at 60 points, and the top score in there is Channel Islands, results not guaranteed, at 84. That's pretty narrow. And then sandwiched in there, you've got Cal Poly, Jackson State, who I'm very proud of. I think they're doing a great job for being such a small computer science department. University of New Mexico in there too.
They're a first-time participant, right?
Both of them. University of New Mexico and Jackson State and Cal Poly, actually, all three of those.
We'll remind our listeners here that these are graded out. It's on a curve where the max score is at 100, and then these are all percents out of the top score. All right, should we go to the top, see who hit that 100?
You want to do that this time or not? Or just make them guess? Should we do it?
I think we should do it. Let's put it up there.
Here we go.
Third place on the NASA Challenge, the other Texas Tech team, the Matadors. We've had this big rivalry the last 2 years, the two different Texas Tech teams. Here's the Matadors coming out on top of the Red Raiders this time. Yeah. Look at the team from Channel Islands, the other team from Channel Islands, the High Performance Dolphins, another strong score from them. And at the top, and not for the first time either.
No.
The slugs of Santa Cruz, the not so slow slugs, putting in the top score on the NASA WRF Challenge.
We're really seeing a pattern here of those three top teams finishing, kind of trading off between Santa Cruz and the Dolphins, but the Matadors are sneaking in there.
All right, now before we get to the leaderboard as it stands, let's remind everyone where it was after our last challenge.
Yes.
Up on top, we had those Channel Islands high performance Dolphins who had scored the maximum 100 points on 2 of the previous challenges, followed closely by Santa Cruz, which had one of the maximum 100s. And then the Matadors have been consistently strong, rounding out the top 3. So, we've been saying these are the strong competitors. How does it look now after the newest challenge?
Okay, here we go. Not a lot of change here. Florida A&M has been snake bit.
Yeah, they've been struggling. That's okay. We're delighted that they're participating.
Absolutely. We've got Morehouse, the other Channel Islands team, results not guaranteed, and Texas Tech Red Raiders getting on the board, adding to that point total. But now we get to that middle again. Is it still as tight? And yes, it is. Jackson State added really well to their total, 284, not out of danger yet from the Red Raiders, but within a point of Prairie View A&M.
That's very close, and there's going to be a lot more movement in there. Also close within the middle. There's not so big a gap between UTEP and University of New Mexico, Cal Poly Pomona, very close, both in the 360s total there. And then we get to our consistent top 3.
It is vanishingly close between 1 and 2, but the Matadors are within reach, just as in the next 3 for 4th place, it's anybody's guess. And one of those could possibly reach up. It could happen.
We saw it happen last year. There was huge movement last year in that final AWS challenge that turned it into a neck and neck race heading into the interviews. So currently, those Dolphins from Channel Islands still on top, narrow lead over UC Santa Cruz, which now has its second 100-point score. 2 of the teams accounting for 4 of the 5 100-point maximum scores. So fitting that they are number 1, number 2, and Texas Tech Matadors right behind them at number 3. There are actually 200 points left. There's one more performance challenge. The students are at AWS now. We'll talk about that in a second. And then we have interviews to round things out, which will contribute to the final scores.
As well.
That's another 100 points. So there is still plenty of room for movement here.
There really is. It's still open. Who wants it? Who's going to take it?
What are they up to today at AWS, Dan?
That would be the GROMAX challenge this week.
GROMAX, another popular HPC code, and interesting to see that come into the mix.
Yes, it is. We will see what happens on that. What we have coming up on our studio update shows, I know all of you are really following these closely. The millions and millions of you out there.
I hope so. It's exciting. I'm following it.
I've been recording a whole bunch of team interviews. I've got almost every team down, and those will be posted. One of the things to look for in those is my broadcast partner was absent during those, so I have inserted some appropriate video.
Oh, I can't wait.
Every time. Yeah, including Addison revealing his winter fashion wear on the catwalk.
Is it a yellow blazer? I hope it's a yellow blazer. Oh, I look so good in yellow, Dan.
Let me just say the phrase festooned with fur.
Faux fur, I hope.
We'll see. But we also have interviews with the NASA mentors. Those will go up soon. So a lot more stuff to go. And please follow us on our media partner, HPC Wire. Give us a shout out on social media. All that stuff's on your screen now. And this is the time. It's coming down to it. This is the time to really get involved.
Well, another big congratulations to all the students and heartfelt thanks to NASA Ames, all of our mentors and sponsors for making this possible. The Winter Classic Invitational is going strong, and it's exciting as always, most of all to see this next generation of HPC talent really digging their teeth into these challenges.
And that brings us to another point. You want to hire some of these folks? They want to be hired? Absolutely. So reach out to us. We're pretty easy to find to talk about that.
All right, Dan. Well, that's a good note to end on because this is the next generation of talent. And regardless of what school they're at, all of these kids have opted into these HPC challenges. And it's just terrific to see the work that's going into it. And I appreciate the work you're doing on it as well, Dan. So
thank you.
Continue to follow along. We will be back, as Dan said, with the team interviews, as well as updates on the AWS GrowMax Challenge. Tune back in and we'll talk to you again soon.